Hey, it's Chappie's Crypto here again with my episode number 5 of my trading journal on the night of the 26th of July and morning of the 27th of July in Australia. And here's just my breakdown of my latest trading session. So, tough one tonight. Yeah, I overtraded a little bit. I'll go through my detail. I made a couple of mistakes. It is the life of a trader, I think. Obviously, for people that don't know, I'm obviously in the process of trading a demo account. I've got set up a $10,000 balance close to a week and a half ago now, and I've just finished my session for this current session that I was going to trade. So I'll go straight into it. So the whole plan I started with this is I was trying to work out my daily bias. And when I looked at this chart, so this is a NASDAQ E-mini micro. That's what I'm trading. So this is obviously I've seen the results of what's happened in the last a couple of hours. But I'll just go through and explain what I was thinking when I was looking at the daily chart. So when I was looking at the daily chart, we've obviously got this as our range that we've been trading within. So that's the range we've been trading within. We've got a midway point about here, and we're trading up in a premium at the moment. So for me, there's a draw on liquidity up here that I thought, that we've got a reasonable chance because we've had this fair value gap closed out yesterday, so that closed out just recently. We have got this fair value gap here, so I actually marked that on my chart as a potential area this was going to draw to. It wasn't sure, and I actually convinced myself based on the way this looked that the price is possibly going to do this. So I sort of convinced myself that we may have some long bias. So my first two trades, which you'll see in a minute, were based on this concept that I thought we might be going long. So yeah, anyway, we live and learn. So we'll go down to the 15-minute chart, and we'll see what the deal was before 8:30. So marked off when I was looking at this, and I'll turn on my drawings just so you can see what I marked at. Don't worry about this at the moment. Okay, so this is the price at midnight. So just here was the price at midnight, so I marked that out. And what I was trying to identify initially before this time frame came to us is trying to use that whole concept of the power of 3 once again. So if price is doing this, we've got a little bit up here, a little bit down here, but reality is for me, I didn't feel like this is much of a movement up. I had marked off this as a possible level. If it came up to here, I was going to consider shorts possibly because I was a bit 50-50 with this bias. And similarly, if marked off, I was paying attention to what was happening down here, and if price came down to here, I thought we were going to go long. So that was my bias, because ultimately I thought, there's not enough upward movement here, possibly. So if this does this, I'm expecting price to do this. That's what I was thinking would happen in this particular session. And what the reality has happened, it's done this, it's gone like this, and then it's come down to here, deliver this way. And who knows, when we get close to lunch and after lunch, it may do this. So anyway, this was something that I did mark off as an area of interest, which it's obviously drawn to from the fair value gap on the 15-minute chart. So let's zoom right in. It will drop down into so I was looking at the 15-minute chart. I dropped right down into the 1 minute even to see what setups I was going to take. So here we go. This is what happens when you overtrade. I'm going to turn on the indicator I've got here, which is a fractal break imbalance fair value gap. So it's an indicator that shows you the fair value gaps, obviously for the untrained eye, and that includes myself in that. They're not that hard to identify, but this just makes it really, really simple to see fair value gaps as they appear. I didn't have a great session at all, I have to say. Got stopped out twice, and I just took some profits on my last trade, which was nice. However, the first trade I took was this one here. I took a long entry, and I'll explain the methodology. Remembering that I had a long bias, I felt like if price had come down to a certain level, so I'd have marked off this is the level that I was looking at as if price broke below this. I thought, if price breaks below this, I'm going to look for a break of market structure, and I'll look to enter in a fair value gap, and away we go. That's what I was looking for. So for me, price came down here, broke that level, great. We've got the price came up here, and I convinced myself that I convinced myself we've got to break a market structure there. not sure. You could probably argue that was a strong enough one, but anyway, I convinced myself that one was there. So we break up again here. So I'm going, great, definitely going to break a market structure. Wasn't a super strong move. That candle there was a nice strong move reversal, but this one here, maybe. So it wasn't super strong. However, you know what, I'm going to go for it. It looks like it's set my criteria. So I actually placed a long entry just at that level there. That's why I took my long, and I had my stop. Where did I have my stop? I had my stop actually down here. That's where I had my stop. So entry here, stop there, and unfortunately, as you can see, this nasty wick, this nasty candle, it was a shocker. So boom, boom, stopped me out. So that was pretty rapid. That was a $117 loss on that first trade. So there we go. I probably really silly here. I convinced myself that, you know what, this is definitely this is definitely something. I don't really know what I was thinking, to be honest, except for I said, you know, I think I missed this move. I think this is going to go. So post this, I took another 6 long, and this was a stupid trade, and I got stopped out again. So there you go. That's what happens when you overtrade. So those 2 trades, I can't, to be honest, I don't really know what I was thinking on that particular trade. It was a poor trade, so silly. So I just said, you know what, I just need to sit back a little bit and really think, maybe I've got the bias wrong. Maybe I haven't read this market right. And when I sort of zoomed down a little bit, I did notice this trend. I thought this was kind of interesting. I was going, you know what, we've got this, price has done this. We've just come back up here. We've got a bit of a break here, because that's the thing. We've got a pretty strong candle down here. Prices come down here. Excuse me. Let's come back here. It's hit this fair value gap. Maybe I got the bias wrong here, so let's go short. So I changed my mind, which, you know, I don't know if it's a good thing, but I did. Excuse me. And I took a short just here. So I entered 6 contracts short. I didn't want to get caught out with this big crazy weakness, the week of this candle again, and we're only a few minutes, or less than 10 minutes out to the 9:30 market open, which is where you see some pretty crazy candles and some big action. So I put my stop up above this here, so we had plenty of space and plenty of room for this to move, and I'm glad I did, because this is what happened. Market open, started going crazy. I took a little bit of heat. I was actually down negative position, probably a good $140, $150, but I had my stop up here. It would have cost me a lot if I'd lost this trade. It would have been a probably $250 loss. However, I was, based on everything we had seen up to this point, I started to feel, you know, I think this is where this price is going to draw to. So I just held true to the plan. That was the plan that I took to after I got the first plan wrong. I probably was a little bit not patient here, because I actually had my initial take profit set right at that level. It came down real close, started to withdraw again. I just closed the position out fully, took all positions out, made a $273 profit on that last position. Frustratingly though, because if I'd actually just held on, had a little bit more confidence in that position, maybe took 3 out there, and possibly if you go back, say, to the 5-minute chart, and what would have been a really sensible target within that zone. And if you scroll back here, we can actually have a look at some possible targets. You'll see here we've got a nice imbalance on the 5-minute right in the middle of this section. So if we had actually come over here, maybe, which would have been a really sensible place, it was in line with what I thought would happen after I changed my mind, when I realized the short was a good way to go. Take one there, and probably take one and close out the position at that imbalance that we just hit. If I'd done that, I would have filled a probably $400 to $500 profit. Would have been a really nice trade made up for these 2 losses. But in the end, I've ended up with a session, and here's the report from Tradeovate. This was my end result. So total loss of $23 for the session. So overall, not the end of the world. 2 bad trades, 1 good one. So it effectively is pretty close to a nil day. But then's the breaks. So as I promised, I'd show you good, bad, and ugly. So that was a bit ugly. As I said, one, I'll take the first trade, probably a little bit overly. Probably read into it too much. It wasn't really a strong enough setup. And second trade was just a stupid trade, so I don't know what I was thinking there, and I'll have to learn from that. And this trade here, my last trade here, I just need to have more confidence that when I've got my plan set up, just hold your position. So at least hold till your first target. Be sensible. I was interested to see if it was going to break through this, which it did, and it kept moving. So I should have just held that position. I would have locked in a nice higher profit and would have finished the session in front with a $100, $150 profit, maybe even more. So there you go. That's my learning for that particular session. It is currently almost about to crack into midnight. I'm sure this market's probably, it'll be interesting to see, and I'll check in the morning, but there's a fair chance now it's closed out this imbalance that the price may actually do what I originally suspected it possibly would do. I might just watch this for a little bit longer, where it possibly is going to do this, come down here and then go this direction and do that. So who knows, maybe that's what will happen. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what this price does here, because look what's happened. We've got this nice little fair value gap who's forming here on the 1 minute. And I would be interested to see if price comes up here, up to this level here, then this for me would be a really good place to place a possible long. So I might just keep an eye on that for a little while and see what happens before I go to bed. It is fairly late, and from experience, I've taken one good trade. Maybe it's a good time to just turn it off. But there you go. So that's all I got to say for now. If I do take this other trade, I'll make a note of it in my next trading journal. But if not, I'll head off to bed. So that's all I've got to say for now. So that's Chappie's Crypto signing out, and have a good trading journey if you are trading. So bye for now.